Looking for something, Hunt?
A lorry stuck in the windows, fumes of heavy fuel. He was acting tough. Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a puller.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? I'm afraid they're closed. It says here that the...
We should try again.
Anything else, Detective? One moment. Can you please describe the body? Age, sex, cause of death?
We suspect he might have been inebriated when he fell. There were bottles all around him, and traces of vomit on his shirt.
Any signs of violence? No field autopsy necessary.
You can hear her quickly typing in the background.
What about his belongings? Did you examine his clothes? Any information on the library card? Good. You have a lead. Do you and Lieutenant Kitsuragi want to take the case, or should I assign it to some... I have assigned the case to Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi. Please follow up on this library lead to identify the man. That's all for now. Thank you for reporting in. Is there anything else I can do for you? Sure, officer. What's the number? Got it. I'll contact the ICP database immediately. Call back tomorrow. Hopefully they'll have dug up something useful by... The International Collaboration Police? They keep detailed records of all military technology produced by licensed manufacturers. That's one of the reasons the Moral intern spearheaded the creation of the ICP. Just a second. Sylvie Malaika on the line. Yes. Hello? Oh, great.
You hear the...
Anything else I can help you with, officer? No. And I doubt they'll get back to me before tomorrow. Just a moment.
10-4, come in, officer. 10-4, sir, glad to hear that. I'll write down that there is no need to issue.
Feels good to get that off your chest, right? Celebration with beer?
10-4, I know, I already wrote it in a report, but it will stay on my desk. 10-4, sir, roger that, and very glad to hear it. I will roger that. 10-10, over.
Officer, care to actually, never mind. The prick is gone. I can barely believe it. But hell, most likely, he was an absolute Kent. His hungry little heart finally gave out. The dock workers found him in the guard booth this morning.
Did he feel like he has to prove he can still pull his weight?
Guess he was about to head home, 'cause when the dock worker, sometimes I thought he was wearing it just to piss me off. Now the joke's on him, 'cause he's gonna be buried. No, René was the most stubborn man in Revachol. Nothing you or I could say would ever, I repeat, an absolute Kent. Even his whole, the only people who could stand to be around him were Jenny and me. She saw something in him when we were just kids, and she never lost sight of it. And I thought if the most beautiful being in the world can love him, then there must be something worth holding. We've hated each other our entire lives. So much, in fact, that, yes, I loved that angry prick. He didn't deserve it, but I did. You know what his last words to me were? In Guillaume's time, you'd have been shot without trial. That's what he said to me. He lived a Kent, and he died a Kent. Let's leave it at that.
Yes, we are both.
It is what it is, part of life really. but to know someone, I just don't know anymore. About anything, really. But you must need something, yes? What about René? Yes. We all got to go sometime, officer.
We are both very sorry.
It is what it is. I just don't know anymore.
Every snowflake is like a little gift from the sky.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People. A fridge? No, I don't know anything about a fridge. Aren't you interested in books?
For whatever reason, she's lying to you about the fridge. Seems like you have to find your own way to the...
Who? What? I don't understand what you're talking about. I can't in good conscience risk releasing the Bane of Doom upon all because you... Oh, you mean that girl with those bizarre machines? I recall her now. Her energetic presence was off. Very off.
Her filament memory.
In fact, it's odd how many of these troubles started with her departure. How do I know she's not behind the curse? We definitely have to contain it now. Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome...
Time to fire up the old lie machine.
No.
The lieutenant looks at you. Wait, you've got this. Just go with it. This is elegant.
You're called... what?
He turns away, not before you can see a small hint of a smile. He's struggling to not crack up.
Not this nonsense again. I already said no.
The curtains, tattered with age and... You see a dimly lit room full of dusty furniture and trash. A doorway stands in the back.
I warned you. You're unleashing forces
A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dust. What if you just break it down? That's right. Take in your surroundings. You need to have a solid ground and a proper posture. Steady breathing. Solid core. You've got this. The room is dimly lit and littered with old barbershop rubbish. But it's made of a solid block of wood, but it has stood there for ages. The hinges are old and coated with a carmine layer of rust. It should be doable. You smash into the wood and see a small crack appear on the door frame. It's going to take one more try to break through to the...
You're not thinking of trying again, are you? What is this place? No, it's a gym. Though it looks like no one's been here. I doubt the electricity still works. Good thing we have a flashlight on us. Don't forget to take it out of your bag before we move on.
Some specks of dust shimmer in a faint beam of daylight falling from the window. Other than an eerie feeling rises in your chest.
Yes, because it's closed. No need to look for supernatural explanations.
A barbell lies on the floor. It's 60 kilograms. Your triceps hum at the sight of these weights. Show the world what kind... There are no collars on the barbell. Why does it feel so familiar?
You're right. The weight may fall off. Better not touch it then. It would be a violation of EPIS safety regulations if the gym was still operating.
No, it's not that. It's the stale smell of rubber, the squeaky sound of sneakers. Your bruise just a memory from another life. When you were young and fit. Well, hello. Someone seems to have found himself a bottle of... What a solid can of mass-produced piss water. Well over 10%. Wow, the gods of mass production have made this alcohol container laughably easy to open. A child could have done it. There's a satisfying pop as the cap comes off, and the hair on your back rises like an army at attention. Nothing. Some mental stuff. Nothing to be worried about. A golden sun melts down your throat. Its rays filling your nostrils with sunshine. Your stomach melts from it into a happy, gooey mess. So does your mind. All the bad things from the void we came. The barbell waits patiently on the floor, like a dog for its master. You manage to hoist it off the ground, but the barbell feels wobbly and dangerous. See? See? Even your body has failed you. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea to smash through that back door.
Proper weightlifting gloves would definitely afford a better grip.
An iron safety curtain curves before your eyes, folded like a bellows. It covers half the room, blocking the way. What an odd thing to do. Nothing happened. Still nothing. Those curtains prove to be surprisingly sturdy. Your fist hurts now.
Can you please try to refrain from attacking random things? Why do you think there's something on the other side, necessarily? In any case, there's no way we can get in right now.
Your flashlight slides over an old green chalkboard covered in scribbles, sketches, and schemes, like some ancient cave. Some of the writing has faded with age, but you can still make out sections. These lithe, pointy-eared creatures appear to be different types of Welkins. You make out autumnal, translucent Welkins, with organs shining under their skin. And even who are all those creatures? You should adopt one of those Welkins as your persona. One of the Welkins, towering among the rest, appears to be different. It's Vara Hamira, a high Welkin, his face white and scarred like cracked marble. This is clearly a Welkin supremacist. The notes say the Haldor, the Tworg, the humans, and even headless men, all of them, purged. Imagine a world filled only with
An inordinate amount of time has gone into drawing these little Welkin creatures. Some people really like building a world, I think, even if it's just for a game. This looks like concept art for a project. It's not really real. Political commentary. That one has a great beard, too. Just look at those details.
The photo collage depicts barren, icy landscapes wrapped in perpetual night. You see permafrost and entire oceans have been frozen from shore to shore. There are pictures of settlements on dried-up riverbeds. You see primitive oil rigs built into glaciers, Boreal Dvorg. Yurts, and albeit dark and cold, this vision also feels cozy in its own way. A pinned postcard reads, "The heat death scenario, a desperate fight for geo." This is a monthly calendar from the year 50. Cryptic words like sprint, daily minimi, and GPI span the marker-drawn grid, the grand scheme of production and money. It looks a bit like an academic calendar, only much more brutal. So much pain, back pain, neck pain, headaches, carpal tunnel, chest pain. No gym membership can make up for working in. Minimi stands for a mini meeting. It's part of a bigger framework for managing work called RUN. Station 41 tried to implement it a few years. As time goes on, the numbers in the boxes grow rarer and rarer. The board becomes an empty snowfield in the final days.
Looks like they didn't make it.
A note in the bottom left corner of the chalkboard says, "See the prod schedule film." The handwriting is only partly legible, but you can still make out 3 slogans. The full text reads, "Heat death of the universe is the new black." Another note says, "The outside, a cold wind wraps the building." Your flashlight, some of the writing has... This old fireplace is covered in lines drawn in blue and red marker, the mesh spreading over the stone like blood vessels on alabaster skin. It looks ghostly, and the whole thing resembles Kadran mosaic tiles. Very pedantic. History classes, students with their textbooks open, studying the roots of our civilization. Radio frequencies, it seems. UKV 123.6, UKV 123. Unclear. It looks like a cardiovascular system split into veins and capillaries. Very advanced. You think so? The web is comprised of radio stations, all lead back to one red heart, titled The Game Master Freak. Looks like a surveillance. They must have had massive air width. These things don't come cheap. Someone very important. A conductor for the hundreds of story threads that pass through the Game Master's frequency. Whoever decides to call in to a call-in station. A list of names under the stations suggests people across 6 Isolas would be playing Muindi. There's no way a little basement studio working here could pull anything like this off.
My God. It's as if the less money they had, the more ambitious their project became. Exactly. This schedule, I know doom when I see it. The company was running out of funding.
Nothing. It's just lines on marble. A dusty radio computer sleeps on its wired frame.
Another radio computer. Just sitting here with...
This is the Ream Civic radio computer, model RC512.
It's your call. You're in charge of this expedition, officer.
The machine lights up like some prehistoric animal stirring from its slumber, revealing it's empty like a beehive without the filament you have would fit perfectly inside the compartment. Like a smooth draw, the filament slides into place. On the keyboard, the play key stops. The speaker comes to life. Static seeps through the machine's
Good morning. Fortress accident en rue de Saint-Ghislaine. This is East Insulindian. Repeat. Please repeat. Is this the production schedule? Good. Please repeat the password. Good. I've unlocked the production schedule. After...
Really? She just used the same password? Maybe those radio computer guys aren't that paranoid after all.
Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do? Thank you, and goodbye.
Tiles on the cube are still smoldering, casting the framework in a soft glow. Fluorescent play and print keys with a quiet determination. The printer starts printing. A piece of paper unfolding. It's a project report written by the lead producer, Andrew Andy Schott, about Whirl Untethered, a radio game developed by Studio Fortress Accident. The first few pages give an overview of the capital and workforce, while the rest of it seems to be a production schedule. In its short time of existence, Fortress Accident SCA managed to burn through truly insane amounts of money. The first tranche of seed financing brought in 150,000. Eventually, the damage reached 400,000 real, with only half of the game finished. 400,000 real? Yo. These guys knew how to party. Let's just say it was a real adventure for their Igaunian investor. Fortress Accident employed 18 people, the bulk of the team composed of writers and concept artists. There were also radio and a single overburdened producer who developed a habit of popping Pyrrolidon in the basement to escape his obligations. But on the other hand, their obligations were piling up at an inhumane rate, a rate that could only be amended by Pyrrolidon. Why did Fortress Accident have so many concept artists? It didn't. No, definitely not. A few more producers could have come in handy though, especially when dealing with writers, some of whom, one of them, even managed to steal some valuable company property before skipping town for good. The production schedule depicts their glorious descent into bankruptcy. Not the concept artists. It wasn't even the writers. It was impossible not to fail. The project was too large and no amount of money could satiate. They tried to make a 4 million real game with 400,000 in their bank account. They thought they could bridge the gap with pure willpower and imagination. They couldn't. No, you couldn't have. Definitely not. Not a chance. Even then, success remained within an ever-narrowing margin of possibility that, despite everything, never entirely disappeared. That is, until they discovered the Valley of the Heads. At the 11th hour, the lead designer, Jimsk-born Sulisław Jalisa, decided that what Whirl Untethered needed was a secret mystical location. This place was to be the Valley of the Heads, where the heads of all the headless constructs could be found. The player would have been able to choose a head for their headless. The world had never seen their kind before, and might never again. So many. The last count, there were approximately 10,000 heads for 10,000 headless men, all of which could be endlessly recombined. Do you really want to know? There seems to be a calculation here, but it may take a while. The lieutenant taps his foot impatiently. He's dying for a cigarette. Come. What if you broke the radio computer? What if it's never going to stop? And that's it. Well, yeah, that and the catastrophic data loss. On the nature of the data loss, there's ominously little information in the production log. It comes at the very end with what is clear is that one day an unidentified numeric anomaly occurred on the East Insulindian lintel front. Just when the project was returned, it was completely blank. The team spent weeks on the phone with Lintel, the service provider, but despite their diagnostics, they could never produce a satisfactory explanation or pay for the loss. Always read the terms of service. And let's face it, they didn't have any money left for illegal action. Mysteriously enough, it seems that the offsite copy happened to be onsite when the catastrophe. It was the lead programmer's responsibility to oversee weekly maintenance of the offsite copy and, well, keep it offsite. An explanatory note from the S. Lukanen Kilda, the lead programmer of Fortress Accident. The offsite copy was onsite because there was no offsite anymore. Not for me, not after 8 months of crunch. I didn't have a home anymore, so I started keeping it in the basement in the ice bear refrigerator near where I went to sleep. It was perfectly safe there. Her former colleagues would agree. She's right, actually. Nothing wrong with keeping this type of filament. The production schedule ends with a few random notes that seem to be added sometime later. 4 months later, by an unknown author. I am the only one left, and it's gotten rather damp here. A few other businesses have gone under too. Slipstream switched to making skis. Still haven't got an answer from Lintel about what happened. All I could get were the physical coordinates of the error on the East Insulindian front on that day. Since the computation happened on air, I reckoned it had to coincide with an actually exist. I have compared the coordinates to a map of Revachol West. Turns out it's only 800 meters from here. The address is Saint-Brun 1147. I am going Saint-Brun 1147? That's what the street sign next to the church said. Tiles on the cube are still smoldering. Casting the frame, the filament slides out of its glowing nest.
Okay, what do you think is going on with that computer, chalkboard, and fireplace? Yes, I got that. What I meant was, what were they trying to achieve with this? And what were their ambitions? Because this here looks rather advanced.
This is way above your tiny little policeman head.
Okay, well, I think.
Like he's ready to lay out a fine theory.
It looks like one of those popular pen and paper role-playing games. Only these people were trying to automate it, make it work on radio computers.
Utter madness, he thinks, as a compliment.
Through call-in stations, none of the players have to be physically present. Anyone in the world can participate in the game, as long as they have a two-way radio. Then there's the game master frequency that listens in on the smaller call-in stations. I think that was supposed to...
His fascination has swept aside other concerns for the moment. He's a little hooked. Coordinating so many games would take a whole switchboard of people. Possibly...
Not to my knowledge. They make automated games in Graz, Messina, Königstein. You know, places with industry. But I don't think anyone has attempted to create an inter-isolary game before. We just don't have the technology. Indeed, those Welkins are a dead giveaway. Role-playing people love that stuff. The world looks like a modified version of the WeWorld board game, with hit death thrown in.
Super cool. Someone should give them millions of real immediately.
Indeed, it's ambitious and untethered from reality, but... It's too late for that, I'm afraid. Okay, let's keep...
You see a terrifying ice bear with a... This ice bear is a hypercar. The bear looks oddly realistic. Is it taxidermy? This must be the giant ice bear fridge that soon amid. A gust of freezing cold air rushes to greet you. You hear a low grumble as the bear The lieutenant takes a peek inside. His hand...
Of course, just a giant ice bear-shaped fridge. Let's take a look inside.
The shelves are empty. All you see are crumpled ice cream wrappers with the brand name, Revachol Ice City. A handwritten note, but where's the filament memory? It's not here.
Someone must have taken it. What does the note say?
You pocket the note and the little fridge magnets keeping it on the door. A friendly cartoon bear smiles back at you from a glossy... The paper still smells of vanilla and chocolate.
Good question. It looks like an ice cream fridge.
Somewhere in the past, it's summer. 5-year-old Fifette lets go of her mother's hand. Change jingling.
I know. What is even worse, the bear is still costing them money.
The fridge buzzes with energy. A thick layer of coal dust covers the... Looks like this furnace has a face, and it's a face of agony.
Looks like it. Looks like an old central furnace used to... No one has used it in ages. No signs of any recent fire.
It's dark and grimy here. In the darkness you can hear chat. The echo is so prominent, it's impossible to discern.
What are you doing? Wait, really? Maybe it's coming from behind those safety curtains we saw. We should ask the lady in the bookstore what's going on with these curtains.
A lush layer of coal now covers your skin. Maybe you could paint something with this coal. Leave a cave painting. Still, it's good to have this dirt on you. Real men wear coal. A hollow ring echoes through the furnace. Your toe hurts. The note is written with a blue pencil on a...
Does it say anything interesting?
This is tangential at best, but the lieutenant's... Someone has scribbled. S. I can't believe the off-site copy is still here. The illiterate ginger kid keeps stealing stuff from the studio, so I had to hide it. You'll find the filament memory with the off-site copy in the frozen ice cream maker. Please take it home, ASAP. It's important. I'd do it myself if I lived in a civilized place with a freezer. Take care, Sulislav.
Sulislav. Wasn't he one of Miss Lukanen's co-workers? I remember. It belongs inside a radio computer, storing its memory. It's like
the production schedule you found.
Really? You don't have a single guess? Oh, I'm sure that child would love to get his hands on a filament memory. Even if he doesn't know. I don't know. I assume it's somewhere close to the iceberg fridge.
A few bricks have fallen off, revealing a compartment behind the wall. It's too dark.
Seems like an old bunker from the Revolutionary period. Look at all those rifles. Must be an old... There is, yes. And there also appears to be something inside the hole. Interesting.
Your hand reaches deep into darkness and spiderwebs, rummaging around.
Are these any good?
Most of them are rusty and inoperable, like the rest, but one catches your eye. An old Bell McGrave rifle, Revolutionary era, prized for its reliability more than its accuracy.
That's a rare sight. Seems to no longer be functional, but still a beautiful thing in its own way. It's the same type of weapon, yes, a breech loader. An interesting coincidence that we should find something so similar. But I'm afraid our search for the... It means there are firearms, albeit inoperable, still lying around in Mat.
He likes this fight. This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner on top and an electric freezer that turning the crank feels oddly satisfying. It's all gone now. You'll never become a poet. What better to assuage the creeping sense of failure than some frozen fat and sugar? This orange machine is buzzing like an old sub. You slip your fingers under the frozen lid, but the ice is too cold.
Didn't Zona give you...
This orange machine is buzzing like an ice squeaks beneath your Kavalzund multi-tool. Look, a black unplugging the ice cream. Two cables are plugged into the break. Something close to you died.
Very smart. Opening the lid should be much easier after.
This orange machine is dead still. It has ice groans and howls under the strain of your giant Kavalzund. Darkness lies inside, but you can faintly make out an object. Disappointment washes over you as you stare into the almost empty ice cream maker.
A scoop of ice cream would have been nice, yes.
You gently lift the cube from its
We should take it back to Miss Lucan and killed as soon as possible.
Yes, but aren't you curious to know what's on the precious...